I guess I based it off of either the college that I liked the best and financially if I was able to do it.
I applied to a large variety of schools. I chose the schools based on their location and whether or not they had programs that I was interested in. At the time I applied, I was largely interested in film and screenwriting. I applied to a mix of private and public institutions of varying sizes, mostly on the East Coast. When it came time to commit to a college, I had actually changed my mind entirely and wanted to go into veterinary medicine. But it was good that I applied to a variety of schools that offered a variety of programs, so that it wasn't hard for me to switch. The college that I ended up picking had both a film program and a veterinary program.
So I was different than a lot of people. I applied to only one school in state, and the majority of the colleges I applied to were out of state, far away, and pretty much like 2,000 kids or less, which is a lot of people sounds probably like a nightmare, less than our high school. But so when I first started the process, something that was really important to me was the learning environment. And one thing that you get at a small school is really, you get small classes, intimate experience with your professors, and it's really a supportive environment. And there's also a lot of freedom to explore different interests, because that's something like I have very varied interests. I might want to go into like sciences or law or different ends of the spectrum. So for me, at some of the schools, some of like the state schools, it's a little more constricting. So for me, I decided that was the fit for me, and I kind of just applied all over the country just to schools that had programs I liked, and I went back and visited some schools back east. And yeah, I got a good list together, around 10, which I think is a good number to shoot for, and went for it, and went pretty well in terms of the application process.
So what came first and foremost for me when I was choosing college that I wanted to apply for was if they had a program that I wanted, or that I specifically wanted to do. And for me, it was pretty easy because I had a specific major that I wanted to do, and not all colleges have that. So I was just looking around at which colleges have it and which have just the best programs for that. And then beyond that, I looked at what type of environment I wanted to be. So I personally wanted to be in a city, so I looked a lot in larger cities for the colleges.
So I chose most of my colleges based off of the programs that they offered, and also like some of the other things that like I was looking into were like activities that they had for students, like different organizations and groups to get involved with. And yeah, so I mainly just looked at like student life and also made sure that they had the programs that I wanted. So.
Because I was admitted for the spring semester, so financially doing that was the best choice for me. I love that the campus is super pretty, and the fact that it's nearby, so it's still a trip to go to, but it's not too close to home.
I'm attending the University of Vermont in Burlington, Vermont, and a large factor in my decision to commit was financial aid, because it is even though it is a public institution, the out-of-state tuition is brutal. But I received a very generous merit scholarship from the school, and so that was a large part of my decision.
So I'm going to be attending Bowdoin College next year, which is in Maine, actually. I think I'm one of the few kids going that far. It's probably what it came down to, I mean, I decided the kind of school I was looking for. I mean, it's kind of fit my bill. It was, I guess it was 2,000 kids, small, sort of prestigious liberal arts college, and it just ended up, I visited, I had it down to 4 schools, and I visited all of them, and it just kind of had the best feel. Like, all the kids I interacted with seemed sort of like my people, I guess. And I think that's one thing that's really important, is to visit schools, because the more you get exposed, it's really the only way to see if it's something that you would feel comfortable. And it was certain things that I would, when I was visiting, like small things that I'd look for, just like the dining halls, if they had food that I liked, or the buildings, if they kind of were pretty, I don't know, or I would look to see if kids were playing Frisbee in the afternoon in the quad, because that's the kind of thing that I like to do in my free time. So it kind of, like, I think the initial process, the best thing to do is figure out what kind of school you're looking for. And then once you sort of have that, apply to certain schools that you're looking for. And then when it comes down to making the decision between the top few or top couple, really just kind of try to visit if that's possible, and see which feels like the place you want to spend the next 4 years of your life, I guess.
I chose the college that I'm attending because I got into a good program there and received a lot of financial aid, which definitely helped the decision. But beyond that, it was it was an environment that I felt that would foster my success, such as like work-study programs, co-ops, stuff like that, opportunities for me to get real-world experience before heading out to the job market. And then also, when I went and toured there, I felt like it was a place where I could see myself spending the rest of my life, where I'd go to some places that on paper looks great, but in reality, I didn't actually feel the vibe there. For me, it particularly came down to I'm going to Northeastern, and they have a great co-op program where you go for 6 months at a time and work for actual companies, and you get paid. So by the time you actually graduate college, you have over a year of experience working in the field that you're going to get hired in. And to me, I thought that was more valuable than going to some top-level prestigious school because of real-world advantages, real-world knowledge and experience.
I chose UCSB because financially it's the smartest as of right now, and also because they have exactly what I'm looking for. At first I was kind of opposed to going to UCSB because it is close to home, but after looking into it more, I realized that like it does give me that like sense of independence because I will be living on campus, and they do have a lot to offer, and the financial aspect of it was also really appealing because they gave me a really great financial aid package.
As you begin your college search, there are 5 things you should consider before visiting each campus. First, know what programs and majors the school offers. Don't visit the school if they don't offer your major. Second, know the admissions requirements and selectivity rates. Know the average GPA, SAT scores, essay topics, and number of recommendations they require. Third, know the location and setting of the school. It might be a small liberal arts school in the countryside or a large urban school with a lively atmosphere. Fourth, know the cost of attending. The tuition as well as scholarships that they offer may make your choice easier. Lastly, know the type of institution. Some schools are more research-based that offer master's degrees and doctorate programs, while others are very small with long-standing traditions. Keep these things in mind as you continue your college search. Good luck.
Just make sure that it's the right choice for you, I guess, and to be sure you can afford it. Definitely.
Start looking early. It can be as casual or as rigorous as you decide, but the sooner you get an idea of what you want to go into, not only the program you're interested in, but the location and size of school, size of classes, all that is really important. And the sooner you get a sense of that, the easier it'll be in the long run to, pick a school once you've applied.
So I think, as much you can like read online and kind of have an idea, try to figure out something like big classes versus small classes, like what feels more comfortable, like big school with big sports games or otherwise, and try. What I did is I just read a lot online and read books and try to actively involve yourself in the process, because it's easy to kind of just step back and be like, I'll just apply to a few and it'll come back, and I know a few people that by the time April rolled around, they hadn't even really thought about what they wanted, and it can be kind of a bummer. And then as far as the application itself, just get on it early, because with those essays, I tried to finish my main Common App and UC essays in the summer, or at least get first drafts going, because they're really a bummer to have to do. The fall senior year can be really busy, and to get that stuff out of the way as early as you can and start thinking about it, the better. So just try to be on top of it and actively engage in the process, even if it's not something that seems super fun. It's a big deal, and you gotta try to sort of work it as well as you can.
I'd say start early, start looking sophomore year, beginning of junior year to look around for the colleges that you want to check out so you can have time to actually go there, see if you like it there or not, then ultimately decide if you don't want to apply there, if you do want to apply there. And also start working on your essays as early as you can, because for the Common App at least, you'll know kind of the general idea of the topics that you can talk about. So I know that I wrote an essay over summer, and then at the end of the summer I just scrapped it because I realized it wasn't very good, and so I had time to actually make that mistake and start over again. Just look up a bunch of colleges on the internet, go see if they have the program that you want, see if they have a good financial aid, and then work on your essays during junior year and during the summer before that, because that definitely gave me an advantage, I guess, and it didn't come down to such a time crunch right before applications were due.
I think talking to students that currently go there is definitely a big help, just because they usually, they might come off as biased at first, but if you ask them specific questions about different programs, they're usually really helpful and want to help other students because they were in your position. Also, look on their websites. They usually have lots of information to offer there too. And I would recommend not applying to a ton of schools, just because I did that and it got very overwhelming. And I did it kind of as a precaution, but it ended up backfiring because I couldn't make a decision at the end of the day and it took me too long. So yeah, just really narrow down your list and base your list off of things that are really important to you, like programs and activities and groups that they have on campus.
Yeah, one thing I would definitely recommend is coming in to the college visits during the fall. There was probably 3 or 4 schools of my 10 that I ended up applying to that I hadn't even thought of until I came to one of these on a whim and really got excited about the schools. And one of the lady who came in, one of the admissions people, when I visited the school, I talked to her and she remembered me, and I'm sure it helped a lot getting in, because they're in some ways kind of like little interviews, because she said when she was reading my application, she remembered talking to me in these things. So the kind of thing, if you're ever even just have the slightest inkling of possibility that you might apply to the school, definitely come to these, because they help in the admissions process. They help in just thinking, even just go to ones you're not even sure if you want to go to or not, because it just kind of, even if it tells you, okay, I don't want to go to that school, that's still helpful in this process. And I think that's it kind of goes back to the main thing, is just try to get as much information as you can, because it's easy to not want to and to just kind of go through it. But if you can really get information about different schools and coming and talking to people, really, it can get you really excited. A school, Colorado College, I came in here, never even heard of, and the admissions counselor came in here, was really cool, and I was the next day I just wrote their supplement because I was so excited about the school, and it ended up being probably my second choice. And so you never know what's gonna, if something happened differently, I could have easily ended up going there, and that's so it's really important to try to open up. You never know what kind of opportunities might come from something like that.